Arpita Dave, embrace your quirks. Embrace your quirks. Arpita Dave.
Thank you, Contest Chair.
You're welcome.
Imagine being trapped inside your own body. Not in a poetic or a philosophical way, but literally. You're 6 years old, sitting in a classroom, and hear your name from behind. You want to turn your head, but you can't. So instead, you turn your entire body awkwardly, like a stiff mannequin, only to see a room full of faces mocking you. Imagine. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a child, most kids around me could live freely, run without a care, and play hide and seek without it feeling like a survival challenge. But me, not so much. I had an inbuilt reason to avoid sudden body movements. My head and left shoulder were attached since my birth, fused. This meant no twisting, no turning, just a lifetime of awkwardly shuffling my body all over, even for the simplest tasks. I was a glitch in the system. Doctors had told my father something no parent should ever hear. Mr. Dave, your daughter is a special child. She will never be able to do any complex physical or mental task. The entire left side of her body has been badly impacted. I am sorry. Translation: I was born broken. At least that's what I believed for a very long time in my life. Now, if life were a puzzle, I started off as an unsolved Rubik's Cube. Mismatched, scrambled, and seemingly impossible to fix. While my other classmates were solving actual puzzles, I became one. But let me tell you, this made my everyday life exciting. Crossing a street, an extreme sport. Playing tag, guaranteed loss. And dodgeball, I was the easiest living target. Now my body wasn't done being quirky, so my brain decided to make reading an adventure. I was diagnosed with dyslexia, and this turned alphabets into a rebellious circus. To me, words weren't just words. They were these shape-shifting creatures, jumping and flipping, only to mess with my mind. In school, spelling bees felt like gladiator battles, except I was armed with a broken sword. Once a teacher asked me, Arpita, as part of your verbal English test, please spell dog. Confidently, I said, Sir, dog is simple, G-O-D. Pretty close, right? I don't think it was. And that's when I realized that divine intervention was my only hope. But my most exceptional moment came when I once signed up for a school race. The whistle blew. I took off only to go straight into a bush. And the finish line was as far away as another country. But I got back up, brushed myself off, and one zigzag step at a time, I crossed that finish line. I didn't win. There was no chance for me to win. But that didn't matter, because you see, my friends, for the first time in my life, I had run. For the first time in my life, I had run. And here's when I realized something powerful. I had a choice. I could either let my limitations define me or find creative ways to succeed despite them. So I adapted. After mastering the art of side-eyeing to make up for my stiff neck, I developed love for audiobooks to learn from and to outsmart dyslexia. But most importantly, I stopped seeing my struggles as my barriers and started treating them as my quirks, uniquely mine. Over time, I got stronger. Through innumerable interventions, my body got full movement and I could read an entire book without feeling like the letters were knocking me out in a boxing match. How many of you present here today have felt things that make you feel awkward, different, or even less capable at times? Let me see you. If you have your hand raised, look to your left, look to your right. You are not alone. And it is okay for all of us to have our quirks, because the very things that make us feel different are the things that make us special. Today, I am not someone who couldn't do things as a child. I stand before you as someone who solved the puzzle of her life. I couldn't turn my head, but I learned to turn my perspective. Today, I'm an artist, cyclist, speaker, daughter, friend, and so much more. And here's something cool. Contrary to the initial predictions of my doctors, I love solving complex problems, like a Rubik's Cube, which makes me one in very few people in the world who can solve it in under a minute. So next time when you feel knocked down, just remember, I made it work without turning my head for years. Took on dyslexia one flipped letter at a time. And most importantly, I never let my struggles have the final word. No matter how complex or mixed up the Rubik's Cube of your life is, there is always a way to solve it, just like I solve mine. And if I can do this, you can too. Now be out there and embrace your quirks, for they are your superpower. Contest chair.